Every big win starts long before game day. On any given Monday, we go where cameras don't. Behind the contracts, the calls, and the chaos. We'll road trip with scouts, visit iconic campuses, step inside replay booths, and walk up to the luxury suites. Real organizations, real stories, real decisions. Lace up your cleats, buckle your chin strap. Here comes our GM, Matthew Mayle.
My guest today on Any Given Monday is Dr. Andrew T. Goodrich, who was named Director of Athletics at the University of Akron on May 12th, 2025. Go Zips. Make sure I wear my Zips shirt.
Love it. Let's go Zips.
Go Zips. So previously, Dr. Goodrich was the AD at Gardner-Webb University, where he led a Division I 22 varsity sport program to unprecedented success. Before that, he worked in the athletics department at the University of South Florida, the University of Miami in Florida, and the University of Notre Dame. Dr. Goodrich played baseball at Cumberland University and has an MBA in marketing management from Notre Dame and a doctorate in higher education administration from USF. So you've worked across Power 4 programs, helped launch the ACC Network, and led major marketing initiatives. Now you're at the top of a major public university. The University of Akron's mission statement says that the university strives to develop enlightened members of society. So tell me, Dr. Goodrich, what led you to Akron, and what about this place and its community convinced you that this is where you wanted to lead?
Awesome. Matthew, thanks for having me on the show. You know, I think all of us, when you get into whether it's intercollegiate athletics like me or any other industry, you've got a dream to get to the top. When I was a student at the University of Notre Dame getting my MBA, had a fantastic professor. His name was Dr. Kevin White. He was the director of athletics at the time, and he taught an athletics administration course, right, as a part of the MBA program. Having been blessed to be one of the students that got selected to be in his course, he had us build out a roadmap for our career. Mm-hmm. And I decided that right then and there, I said, you know what? I'm going to be a Division I athletics director someday. And so we literally wrote out a map, right? Very detailed, very specific of the things that I do throughout my career to get to be a Division I athletics director. And when I was named athletics director at Gardner-Webb University, it was 17 years from when I had graduated from the University of Notre Dame. But step by step, we got there. We made the climb, and it was awesome. And I share that because your question was what drew me here. It was a dream that started 17 years ago on the Notre Dame campus of wanting to be a Division I athletics director. And then, while we were at Gardner-Webb, I really enjoyed it there. I enjoyed the student athletes. It was an opportunity for me to demonstrate that I could be a successful Division I athletics director. And when the University of Akron reached out about my interest, when I started to look into their university and realized the incredible strength and all of the natural resources they had, and frankly, the fact that they had not achieved their full potential, I felt like I could be of service to them. I could help them fulfill their potential. I'm driven to live a life of service, and knowing that this was something where I could truly help not just a university's campus, but all the people who live in Northeast Ohio, through my love of athletics and education and business. And then having met some of the people there at the university, I felt it already. I'd felt it intellectually, but emotionally, I thought, okay, I really think this is the right place for me at the right time.
So can you share some of your early successes at Akron?
Yeah, I would say the most important, and Matthew, you got me on literally today. is month 5. Today is 5 months at Akron.
Wow.
The most important early success is developing a culture.
Mhm.
And you'll hear that phrase used quite a bit. But for us, you can have a culture, but it's another thing to develop a culture. So we created a cultural blueprint. And I don't know if you or any of your viewers have ever been involved with having a home built. But when you build a home, you don't just hire the best plumber and the best electrician and the best roofer and just tell them to all show up on the same day and go, hey, folks, build a house. That doesn't work that way. Not successfully anyway. But that's how a lot of people show up and say, I'm going to build a culture. I'm going to hire the best coach. I'm going to hire the best trainer. I'm going to hire the best but that's still not building a culture. For us, we created a cultural blueprint, and this is what it looks like. Matthew, we clearly define what do we believe, how do we behave,
Mhm.
and what outcomes do we expect. When everyone in our department understands what we believe and we all agree on those beliefs, then you'll start seeing synergy. You'll see alignment. You'll start seeing people hold each other accountable for our standard, and you're going to see results grow and improve. So we've implemented that. And I know your show's not that long. I could take an hour going through the blueprint, but I'll hit you with this, like our 5 core beliefs.
Okay.
Our first core belief is anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone believes that anything is possible. There are some people out there who say, you know what, Andrew, honestly, are you going to win a national championship? And I'm going to say, yes, absolutely, 100% yes.
Mhm.
Because here's the deal. You might be a reasonable and rational person, but that won't make you great. How many incredible, great things have you ever heard of in your life that was done in a very reasonable, rational pace?
Not many.
Not many, right? Think of the guys, Orville and Wilbur Wright. We're going to learn to fly. Yeah, right. They have, how many people thought they were nuts? But for
Yeah.
us, we believe anything is possible. We also believe in the growth mindset. We want our students to really understand that you are not any one thing at any one time. Every experience that you have in this life is used to help you grow and learn. And when you do that, you don't fear judgment. You don't fear making mistakes. You learn how to become a subject matter expert. And you just use any mistake that you or your teammates make as fuel to get better. Our third core belief is that you were born to be a champion. Matthew,
Mhm.
champions act like champions before they become champions. Now, you're not going to get a trophy just because you showed up. That's not really how it works. That's not going to help you get better, right? But if you do the work and you act like a champion, you will find the champion within you. We believe that athletics is education, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people like to think that, hey, when you're in athletics department, you're a football, baseball, basketball player, whatever that may be. You're out there on an island and it's something separate and independent or mutually exclusive from learning in the classroom. We don't believe that. We help our student athletes understand that the harder they work in the classroom, the better they're going to be in competition. And the better they are in competition and the things they learn in competition is going to give them the courage to go out and learn and be a great member of society, a great member of their community, and be a great teammate in that classroom. They have a symbiotic relationship. They'll help each other out,
Mhm.
right? And then we believe that organizational health is paramount. And what that really means is sometimes resources and talent is overvalued and organizational health is undervalued. I kind of always use this as an example. Like I'll say, for example, how would you like to have $1 billion?
Oh, I'd love to have $1 billion.
Sounds like a pretty good deal,
Yeah.
except I got to take your heart and kidneys to get it.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
Organizational health is paramount. I'd rather have the healthy body. I can go out and make that money, right?
Mhm.
And so the same thing is true in an organization. Imagine here you are, you're in an organization. You can have all the cash, you can have all the budget you ever needed, but nobody gets along or even likes each other. You gonna win?
Nope.
You're not. You're not. And so one of our core beliefs is making sure that we are a healthy organization. So that's, Matthew, that's like a big win. We've got that installed. People understand it. We're doing it. And then I'd say the second big win for us is something I've wanted to do for years. Thanks to a great donor named Keith Klein and his family, we were able to hire a group called Focus 3 to come in and do leadership and cultural development training for our student athletes, our coaches and staff. They are former US Navy SEALs who have done some of the most difficult missions in the world.
Hmm.
And they're quick to remind all of our student athletes that nothing that we're doing is life or death. However, the things that they did that were life or death, we can learn from their experiences and we can put that to work for us. And as a kind of fun little side note, we here at the University of Akron are very proud of our men's soccer program. It is very, very good. Earlier in this season, we had a daunting task to go play the Ohio State University in their stadium, and we had our folks from Focus 3 and the Navy SEALs do a leadership training the night before they went down to Columbus, and our men's soccer team won that game
Oh, that's
2-0. And it's kind of fun to see that leadership training taking effect immediately in helping our students be as successful as they can be. So those are a couple of the fun early wins.
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. So you started as a marketing grad assistant at Notre Dame and went on to leadership roles at Miami, USF, Syracuse, Gardner-Webb, and now obviously Akron. Looking back, what experiences most shaped your leadership style?
That's a good question. I'd say equally the big successes and the biggest failures. You'll find that there's not a ton that you learn from the big successes. I do like doing like reflection papers or having opportunities to go back and talk with your team about what worked and what worked well. Like one of the things that my team and I did when we were at the University of South Florida is we came up with something called Operation 5.6. I believe the most money we have ever generated at South Florida at the time in ticket sales was a little over $4 million.
Mhm.
We did some math and we said, if we do this just right, when we crush it, we could do $5.6 million. We could make 5.6. It would break the record, would be amazing. We called it Operation 5.6, and we pulled together as a team and we accomplished that. The thing that I learned from that was there's enough credit to go around for everybody, right? If you make everyone on the team, and it doesn't matter, you could be the highest ranking person, you could be a part-time employee. Tell them the goal, tell them the mission, give them a task, make them feel a part of it, brings everyone together. And when you accomplish something big like that, it creates a lot of momentum and everyone feels good. There's a lot of positive, great feelings. You can learn just as much from the failures. In fact, sometimes you learn a lot more from the failures. One of the things that popped out in my mind is when I was at the University of Miami, we were working really hard to create a marketing campaign that would better connect our brand with the Hispanic community in and around Miami, and we call it Uniendo la Familia, essentially meaning uniting the family.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, it just didn't work. It just didn't. We spent a lot of money trying to get this up and running. And I think, and when I think about that, I realized that we just really didn't know exactly what the outcome was that we wanted. We didn't define what we wanted that outcome to be. And because of that, we really just didn't hit the metrics and the key performance indicators that we wanted to get associated with that
Mhm.
campaign. And I share both the positive and the negative of those experiences because your question is, how did it affect my leadership style? I would tell you what I've learned from this, Matthew, is you need to be very, very specific about what you want. With Operation 5.6, it was right in the name. We knew every single human being who was a part of that project knew our goal was to raise $5.6 million. When it came to Uniendo La Familia, we wanted to unite the family. But what does that mean?
Mhm.
And we left it undefined. And because we left it undefined, our results really didn't move the needle. And I heard it explained like this. I didn't personally experience this, but I just heard this, and it's something I think your viewers would appreciate. Next time you're in a room of 10 people, get a blank piece of paper out, give them a pencil, and tell them, draw a Mickey Mouse. Most everybody in America kind of knows what Mickey Mouse looks like, right?
Yeah.
Tell them, draw a Mickey Mouse. And then ask them to hold up their pieces of paper. And what you're going to find is 10 different Mickey Mouses that probably don't look anything like each other. Really, they won't, because you said
Yeah.
draw a Mickey Mouse. And then you tell them to flip the piece of paper over and tell them, draw a circle. And then inside that circle, draw two more circles that might look like eyes. Now draw a circle that looks like a nose. Now I want you to draw two semicircles on that could look like ears, look like Mickey's ears, right? I won't, I'll stop there, but as you can see, when those people hold up the piece of paper and you told them to draw each individual shape, you'll find that all of the drawings look very, very similar. And so from a leadership standpoint, what we learn is be specific. As a leader, if you want a specific outcome, you have to deliver clarity on what you want.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't heard that before. That's great. That's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. So before I mentioned you were a student athlete at Cumberland University. Um, so how does your playing days at Cumberland still guide you in how you relate to student athletes today?
Oh, Matthew, it's such a big, big deal. It's such a big, big deal. I had dreams of being a professional baseball player, and with all due respect to my teammates and us at Cumberland University, we were one of the top ranked NAIA teams in America. But not a lot of us were going pro. Quite a few of us did, but not most of us. And I wanted to play more than I played. I wanted to be an All-American. I didn't achieve that goal. There was a lot that I wanted to do that I did not achieve. And when I'm being really honest with myself, part of that was, I didn't have the natural talent that some of the other competitors had, the people that earned those awards, and they earned them. I also didn't work as hard as I should have. Also didn't work as intelligently as I should have. I left a lot to be desired about getting the most out of my talent and ability. I didn't know it. I didn't know how to do it. Um, Even though I know that my coaches in hindsight were probably telling me how to do it, but I didn't figure it out in time in order to try to get there. Having had that experience, and it was a very good one, even though I didn't accomplish all of my personal goals, I got to play on a team that was ranked number one in America. I got to play on a team that went into the College World Series. I got to play for a coach who just got inducted into the College Baseball Hall of Fame along with Roger Clemens and Mark Teixeira, which is like really, really cool
Yeah.
because Coach Hunt is such a humble and successful man. Matthew, I share these things because I try to have really authentic and honest conversations with all of our student athletes. I want to balance them holding on to their dream and using that dream to motivate them to be the best version of themselves, but not just in competition. Help them understand that that dream of being a professional athlete can fuel your desire to be a better student and to be a better citizen. And and I really try to talk to them in terms of that and try to create that authentic relationship and go, you know, Matthew, if you were one of my student athletes, I'd say, "Yeah, you might not be able to hear, you're hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth, but you may not be digesting them and comprehending them. Do the best you can do. And you are going to fail because failing is a part of the journey. But call us when you need help. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I keep trying to do better and I'm not getting better. Let me tell you, like, we want to be there for them. Try to let them know that real success, real growth is often quiet, it's often slow, it's often hidden in the background and you can't see it. It's like kind of watching grass grow, you know? You keep walking out in your front yard and you're like, man, I got to mow that yard. You never saw the grass grow, but it is certainly longer than it was a couple days ago. I think so many of us want to see success and they want to see our growth and we want to see it so fast so we can quick take a picture of it, throw it up on Instagram so fast and show everyone. That's not really how it works. And so I think having had that life experience personally as an athlete uh, helps me support these kids today.
Yeah. Yeah. Now jump into your time at Gardner Webb. Your teams won championships, shattered records in revenue and engagement. What was the key to aligning everyone, athletes, coaches, the administration, behind that success?
Well, first it was we built a cultural blueprint down there, just like we're doing here at Akron. Everyone knew what to like. This is what we believe. This is how we behave. These are the outcomes we expect. And probably the most important takeaway from that, Matthew, is attitude and effort. Attitude and effort. Always keep a positive attitude, even when things don't go your way. Know that the challenges. I'm a man of faith, Matthew. So I really think of life this way. Every time there's a challenge in my life, I don't see it as a punishment, no matter the size of it. Could be a small challenge like getting through traffic. It could be a big challenge like saying, hey, you got to raise $5 million and you got a year to do it.
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
But every single challenge is not a punishment. It is a gift by God, tailor made for me to learn the skills, knowledge, and ability to be the best man that I could possibly be. My prayer is that I can glorify God to the absolute best of my ability. And the way I do that is taking the talents that I was given and using them to the best of my ability. So now when a challenge happens and they say, hey, something's getting cut, you got to go raise the money, or uh-oh, your starting quarterback got hurt. You guys got to figure out a way to build an offense and go out and score points, even though you're down your best player. It's never anything to get frustrated or angry about. It's something that you should be grateful and joyous about because when you overcome that challenge, and Matthew, I think this is what's important. And you show other people in your organization that they can do that, that they can see a challenge, embrace it, overcome it. They build their self-esteem. I'm telling you, it's a force multiplier. All of a sudden, you get a whole bunch of people who are confident, motivated, intelligent. You get big things done. And that's what we did at Gardner Webb.
Yeah. It's great. So now at Syracuse, you help negotiate major partnerships, Nike, JMA Wireless Dome, naming rights, and NIL initiatives. What's your philosophy when it comes to deals that both fund programs and stay true to the university's mission? Plus, what is it like to be involved in such high profile projects?
My philosophy is that I'm always looking for a win-win. Matthew, when you are negotiating one side of a deal, I would I would encourage you and all of your listeners to understand that those deals usually are going to expire and you're going to want to renew them at some point in the future. If you do a deal that's so incredibly one-sided that it helps you and hurts your partner, the odds of you getting a renewal are quite low. No one's going to sign up for that again. I would encourage you to try to find win-win deals, a deal that allows you to develop the resources you need to accomplish your mission, but also helps your partner achieve theirs. So the first step in negotiating is not getting what you want, but rather understand what it is that your partner is wanting. What do they need? What is their mission? When you know that, you can better position your organization's product, services, or resources to help them achieve their goals. When you do that, the odds of you getting a better deal that support the people who you want to support, like for us, that's our student athletes, the odds of getting a deal that's a win-win go up exponentially. So that's my philosophy. And the way that we keep the spirit intact is we're very, very clear about what we believe. We tell them that, especially all the organizations that I've been a part of, athletics is education. This is higher education. It is not lost on me that there are young men and young women earning significant amount of money above and beyond the value of their scholarship. But I think if the only way you calculate the value of this experience is the number of dollars that you get from your freshman year to your senior year, you're sadly mistaken, because a lot of the value of this intercollegiate athletic experience isn't between the ages of 18 and 22. It's between the ages of 30 and 75.
Mhm.
Because from 30 to 65, those are your working years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you work for a company and the company gets sold to another organization and now you're looking for a job, who do you call?
The other company.
You might, but what if they
Yeah.
turn you down? Now who do you call?
You you gotta call someone else.
You do.
Yeah.
And you know who most of us call?
Who?
We call our friends from college. Our friends in college, those 4 years, you build these incredible relationships with other human beings. And then 10, 20 years down the road, when your friends from college are vice presidents, senior vice presidents, CEOs, entrepreneurs, those are the people. They're the power sponsors who can make decisions on jobs, who can make decisions on whether deals get done. They're the people who have the tickets to the suite, to the NFL games. These are the people who can get stuff done in your life. There is such an incredible value of having those relationships that were started between ages 18 and 22
Mhm.
that you can have for the rest of your life. Very few people, me included when I was in college, gave that a lot of thought. But I thank God that I'm a University of Notre Dame grad, because when I have situations in my life where I need expert advice, or if I needed to turn to somebody for a job, I'm going right back to my Notre Dame MBA cohort and I'm going right down the line. I start
Mhm.
sending text messages, or I'm on LinkedIn and I'm seeing where everybody, hey, great example. I won't say the name of the school, but at one point I was talking with a school on the West Coast about working out there. And I instantly reached out to some of my Notre Dame grads, classmates, and started talking about what's it like to be in that city? What's it like to do this? What would you do? Do you know people who could help us do corporate sponsorships? I was getting deals ready to rock and roll, and I hadn't
Yeah.
even been invited out there yet. That's the value of the network from being at a university.
So you were part of the team that helped form the ACC Network. And are you familiar with NFL Red Zone?
I am.
Okay. So this is an idea that came upon me about a week ago. Do you think we could ever see a red zone style channel for college football, like maybe an SEC red zone or ACR MAC red zone would be awesome.
Matthew, I don't know why we don't already. It's a great idea. It makes total sense. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong on here after you watch it, but I'm pretty certain that ESPN just purchased Red Zone from
They
the
did.
NFL
They did.
Network,
They
right?
did. Yep.
Okay, so Disney's those executives, they're pretty smart. They didn't sit in a room and go, "Hey, we're going to pay a lot of money for this if it's not worth it." They know it's worth it. It's a brilliant idea. Matt, you got to patent that and get that out there, my
Yeah, that's what I
man.
was, that's what I said to my dad. I said we got to get it going. We got to get it rolling. So NIL and transfer portal have changed everything. How do programs like Akron stay competitive in that environment?
So Matthew, I might be the one person in America who's like not scared of NIL. I'm not, even at this mid-major level. And here's why. We got a unique look at it. You've heard me talk about culture before, but with all due respect to our friends who are Dallas Cowboy fans, if it was about money, they'd win the Super Bowl every year. And it's been a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's been a really long
It's
while.
been a little bit. I think it's 30 years, right? But here's the thing. You know what I mean? Is I'm not taking a shot at them. I just use it's a great example. I grew up in upstate New York, so I grew up a New York Yankees fan. And while the Yankees have had a lot of success, they don't win the World Series every single year. And if it was just about money, they probably would win it every single year, but they don't. The point is this, Matthew. Um, the best team will still win, not the best group of individuals. And I think in this era, it's going to be more important than ever to be a teacher as part, I guess, being as a coach, being able to reach people and being a good teacher and a good culture creator to get people to play for each other. Because no group of individuals is going to win. I know that a lot of people believe that, and I'm certain people will listen to this and say, that Goodrich guy's crazy. That's not true. It's all about the Jims and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. But I disagree, and I think the world is going to show us it's going to play out that way. And I challenge people to this way too, especially in the sport of football. Hopefully, you can follow this. Imagine there's 136 teams in FBS, correct?
Yeah,
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, yeah?
correct.
So if you had a whiteboard and you drew from left to right all the A to Z, right? And then number 1 to 136 right across the bottom, letting the 1 represent A and the 136 represent Z, you're going to find that 10 years ago, the type of athletes that would be recruited like an A level recruit or B level recruit, they're still going to the ones and twos, right?
Hmm.
And us at Akron, a mid-major program, we're right there in the middle. We're still going to get mid-level type of recruits. It's just
Yeah.
going to happen. That's the nature of it. The only difference is those schools, the one, two, three, four, fives, they're just paying a lot more money for the same caliber student athlete that they were getting before.
Mm. Yeah.
It's now, if you think about it, the schools ranked 10 to 25, they have some money. So maybe they're picking off some of the players that would have gone to the top 10 schools. So the way I see it, you actually have a less concentration. You got a diluted power of concentrated athletes on those teams as you had before. Now, another argument might be, well, we can do more scholarships than they had before, right? You can still only put 11 guys on the field at the time. In basketball, you can only put 5 guys on the court at the time.
Hmm.
And I just think that over time, I think we're going to find that this is going to create greater diversity among national championship winners in our major sports. Let's see if I'm wrong. Might come out, Matthew will pull this thing out in 10 years and go, Dr. G, you went over 10. But I'm gonna go out there and say, no, you're gonna see greater diversity with the teams at the top.
Yeah.
You're gonna see more upsets from mid-major programs of major programs. And I'm curious how it'll play out. And I believe that Akron's going to be one of those teams that makes a run over the next 10 years into the upper echelon.
I would love to see that. That'd be absolutely amazing, and I'm definitely rooting for you guys. So something that has been going on with this NIL and transfer portal is conference realignment and has really rattled the structure of collegiate athletics. I mean, you got Cal competing in the Atlantic Coastal Conference and all this
Yeah.
crazy stuff. So, what's your read on where this is heading, and how can a MAC program like Akron not only survive but thrive in maintaining its MAC identity?
So I'll be honest, Matt. I think in the MAC, we're in a perfect spot right now. Power, the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, those power programs, the pressure to be able to generate the type of revenues that their student athletes expect is so much greater than us in the MAC. So much greater, right?
Hmm.
We don't need to spend millions and millions of dollars to be able to get great student athletes to come here because it's not the expectation, right?
Yeah.
Like, with all due respect, everyone, we're Ford and Chevy and Dodge. We're at entry level right there. That's fine. I don't care. We're your base model. We are not Maserati or Bugattis. No one's expecting to pay millions of dollars for a Chevy Silverado pickup truck. That's kind of like us, but our Chevy Silverado can get us to where we want to go. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't think over the next 5 years you're going to see the pressure on the MAC schools to pay the same as what you see in the Power Four schools. And because of that, you're going to see major cuts. I think you're going to see major cuts within Power Four programs. And what's really going to create a lot of tension is when you see Olympic sports and women's sports get their budgets cut in order to accommodate the revenue sports within those Power Four programs. And then you are not going to have a healthy organization. Earlier, we talked about how organizational health is paramount.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a very unhealthy campus atmosphere, it will not be conducive to student athletes performing their best, coaches coaching their best, and people supporting that on their campus. I could see us here at the MAC and other schools like us being able to leverage the original intent of intercollegiate athletics, which is to use athletics as an educational experience to grow each individual and support and serve your community.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So now let's jump to some of your visions for Akron athletics. As you look at Akron in the next, let's say 5 years, what is your biggest ambition for the department?
To be recognized as the pound for pound best athletics department in the United States of America. Win more championships on lower budgets than anybody else. Our men's soccer program has designs of winning national championships. Our football program has designs on being a MAC champion and winning bowl championships. Both our men's and women's basketball teams are talking to those coaches and players. Their intentions are to win MAC championships and go deep into the NCAA tournament. Our women's lacrosse program are just coming off a MAC championship. Our track and field program coming off back-to-back indoor and outdoor championships. Our swim and dive program, our women's swim and dive program, I think has won 11 of 12 championships in the MAC. And so as you look across the breadth and depth of our programs, and then when you compare us to other teams that have budgets that are easily 3 and 4 times our size, I'm pretty cool with the moniker pound for pound best athletics department in the United States of America.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. So, going along with that, where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth within the athletic department?
Number one is football. It's the greatest opportunity because again, love our team, love our coaches, love our alumni. But that being said, we are all unified in that we need to elevate that football program. And what's interesting about us is Akron, Ohio, of course, Canton, Ohio, which is just south of us, is the home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yep.
If you read the book The League, which talks about the history of the NFL, you'll learn that the NFL officially got its name in a meeting in a hotel in Akron, Ohio, and that the first pro football team to ever win a pro football championship, which ultimately ends up being called the Super Bowl, was the Akron Pros,
Oh,
the
yeah.
team right here. So we have this incredible tie to professional football here in Akron. So I think that combining the impact of this region with how incredibly popular football is nationwide and worldwide, if we were able to develop a top caliber and collegiate football program, it would impact us significantly. We have a beautiful 30,000 seat stadium that
Hmm.
I mentioned to a friend of mine. I'm like, if we were to sell out one game at football, it would probably represent as much ticket sales as you would by selling out our entire basketball season. That's how powerful football can be.
Wow. That's a good point. So Akron has proud traditions, but also unique challenges in today's college landscape. How do you plan to connect the city, alumni, and student body to strengthen that Zips pride culture?
Yeah, I love that. Matthew, you got to get off campus. You got to get out and you got to get into people's businesses, into their homes, and you got to go to their events. What I've learned here, whether it's Akron or anywhere else, if you want them to help you, you got to go first and help them. You got to volunteer, got to take a leap of faith. And so we will get very involved, grassroots, with local communities, local businesses, help them identify what their hopes, goals, and dreams are, and then find out what resources, skills, and abilities we have that we can apply to their efforts to help them achieve their dreams. If we can help the local youth football teams, you know, put up some goalposts, if we can help the Girl Scouts raise enough money by selling enough cookies to send them on a road trip to someplace they want to go, they will appreciate our support of them. There'll be really good word of mouth and they will support us.
Mhm.
And they really see like that's how it's going to happen.
So, what do you look for when you're hiring future leaders in college athletics?
The first thing I look for is just authenticity, people who know who they are, people who understand their strengths, people who understand their weaknesses, um, people of high character. It's often said, Matthew, that when you look at a resume, you hire people for their technical skills. But I'll tell you what, when you fire people, it's often not their technical skills, it's their behavioral
Mhm.
issues. So hire for behaviors, hire for attitude, hire for effort, hire for aptitude, right? Do that. Teach and train people. They'll do a good job, make them feel like they're a part of the team, and then they're intrinsically motivated.
Mhm.
They'll do just fine.
So, what is the best leadership advice you received, and who gave it to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm an avid reader, and so I draw so much from books. Um, man, there's so many. Jim Collins, who wrote the book Good to Great, has this incredible line. It said, "Confront the brutal facts, but never lose hope." And I just think that's so impactful.
Yeah.
Um, I had a man in my life who was like a stepfather to me, Matthew, and before he passed away, the last thing he said to me was, "Andrew, do it your way because they're going to blame you either way." And
Yeah.
I, at the time, I didn't really understand it. And now that I've been doing this for a while, I'm like, you know what? You got to believe in yourself. You've got to have your own gut. You've got to make decisions, and you got to own them.
Mhm.
And some of them will be really good. Some of them will be less than desirable. But when you own it, I just think so much of the anxiety goes away. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's you. It's you. It's okay. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. But our attitude and effort can carry the day so much.
Yeah. So like you said, you've been in this athletic world for a pretty long while. So after 2 decades in athletics, what keeps you most energized about work?
Dude, I love work. I did so two things. I grew up on a dairy farm, and when you grow up on a dairy farm, you just develop an incredible work ethic because you see how hard your father works, you see how hard your brother works, you see how hard your uncles and cousins and you want to be a part of that. And because maybe it's genetic too, because we've been a family farmer since 1801. That's the first year that the Goodrich farm opened up in upstate New York at its current location. So over 200 years of milking cows and
Yeah.
doing farm work. It's probably in your blood. I love it. I love few things feel as good as a job well done, Matthew. Some people get that dopamine from going on Instagram or, skateboarding or action adventure sports or whatever it is they do. We all get that thrill. We all get that high. For me, I love creating a goal that seems completely and totally unattainable. I love when people walk out of a room that you just spoke with and they're thinking, that dude's crazy. He can't do it. I love accomplishing those things. Matthew, once you do something like that in your life, once you do that, it will never get old. It will never get tired. You will never run out of energy. You will be passionate and driven to get that feeling again. I think about when we were at the University of South Florida, this to be a part of the group that really got that football program going in the right direction. The amazing things that have happened as a part of that program, I'm so proud of. I think about when we were at Syracuse University, I got to work with the men's soccer program just a little bit, but just being around that team. And then in 22, they ended up winning a national championship, and you're like, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then, when we were at Gardner Webb, we hadn't won a football championship, I think, in 19 years. And we won back-to-back conference championships. We got invited to the FCS playoffs, when we got to the playoffs, everyone's like, I mean, you go to playoffs, but it's not like you're going to win. And then we win. Same thing happened. Men's soccer program at Gardner Webb last year. We win the conference tournament. I don't know the last time we won a conference tournament. Scott Wells does such a great job. The NCAA puts us in the tournament, and they decide to fly little old Gardner Webb University all the way out to Oregon. We're going to play Oregon State, and I don't know if they even have odds on that, but if you think about it, like probably a 1 in a million shot, right?
Yeah.
We score a goal early in the second half to go up 1-0 on Oregon State in front of their sold out crowd. And people were just, I'm sitting in the crowd. There's nothing you could do. They're kind of like, who is Gardner Webb? I've never even heard. How is this happening? You feel like you're in a Disney movie, Matthew, and it's
Yeah.
real and you can do it. So I guess having those experiences, I'm telling you, pal, find, set incredibly high goals. Jim Collins actually writes that in his book, right? Calls them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. Set them, make a plan, right? Herm Edwards always says a goal without a plan is a wish, right? So
Yeah.
you got to have a plan. Also, understand there's a difference between a plan and a strategy. Plans and strategies are two different things. You got to write it out, you got to be intentional, and then you work that plan and you don't let anybody talk you into getting off that plan, right? There's no plan B. You burn the boats, you go and get it, you get it done. And it's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah. That's absolutely amazing. All right. So what is the best that I mean, that was amazing advice and information. What is if you had to give one piece of advice? I mean, maybe the same thing, But if you have to give one piece of advice to anybody aspiring for a career in sports or athletics, or what would it be?
Study psychology. It it's more about interacting with people and interpersonal skills than anything else. And I didn't know that, Matthew. It, it, when you're the, when you're the director of athletics, what you don't know is how much time you're going to spend with the vice president of human resources. I'm telling you, you just I who knew? Nobody knew. Nobody told me either. But I'm telling you, my piece of advice is study psychology, sociology, and take some online HR courses. Take them, understand it, understand how to help people set goals and attain goals, help people um, find the ability to be comfortable to talk about those moments when they don't achieve their goals. Because so many times, Matthew, when people don't achieve their goals, they begin to complain, they make excuses, they'll point fingers, and not because they're bad people, because they've never actually been taught how to overcome that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Got to teach people how to work through tough things, that they can do it. And also that just because if you do something and you fail, you attempt something and fail, it's not a reflection on you. It doesn't go on your permanent record. You're not instantly, that's fixed mindset, right? If you make a mistake and now you're bad and you're constantly bad. But Matthew, so many people haven't figured that out. I'm talking grown-ups, right? Like you would think every grown-up's got it together and they've got enough self-confidence to endure one bad decision. No, they don't. No, they don't, right? No one ever took the time to teach them or help them understand that growth mindset and being able to overcome adversity through the failures that you've actually experienced is a blessing. Work through it. It's not a life sentence if you do something wrong.
Yeah. All right. Now it's one of my personal favorite parts of the show. Is lightning round. Couple quick
All right,
questions. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Which one is more unpredictable? Midwest weather or NCAA rule changes?
NCAA rule changes.
Favorite ballpark snack? Sunflower seeds, peanuts, or something else from the concession stand?
Can I go? Is a hot dog a snack?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a hot dog.
Dude, it's the only place I eat hot dogs. Poodle ball game, gotta have hot dog.
So, like you said before, you grew up on a dairy farm. If you had to build a baseball lineup out of farm animals,
Oh,
who's pitching and who's batting cleanup?
oh, all right. Who is pitching and who's all right? Let's see. Um, well, instantly cleanup is going to be our stud bull, right? No one's bigger and stronger. That bull, he's the Aaron Judge of the lineup. And then I'm going to go with, all right, pitcher is going to be the barn cat,
Okay.
right? Barn cats are tough, my friend. They can take on all the elements. They're fast. They can see things. You don't even know there's a mouse over in that corner, and that barn cat has swooped up that mouse before you even knew it was there. So they got the fast twitch
Mhm.
muscle fibers, and so I think they can bring the heat.
One word to describe the Akron community.
Loyal.
Okay. Okay. Give me your scouting report on Akron's mascot, Zippy the kangaroo. And if Zippy went toe to toe with Freddie the Falcon, do you think Zippy could take Freddie?
Easily, and here's why. I went to a local zoo because I wanted to get a live mascot here at Akron could go with Zippy, right?
Hmm.
And so Zippy, the only female mascot in America. She's got a pouch. Only the kangaroos with a pouch are female.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a she. But well, here's what I learned about kangaroos. They're nasty. They are mean animals. They are undomesticated animals. And so I from what I have learned about kangaroos, Zippy is bringing the heat, and you don't want to mess with Zippy.
Oh yeah. So what's more nerve-wracking? Full count, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, down three, or first day at AD at Akron?
Oh, more nerve-wracking. Listen, I'm going to throw you a curveball um, because of what I said before. Every challenge that is in my life was tailor-made by God for me to step up in that moment. And because of that belief that I have, Matthew, I have no fear.
Okay.
I'm swinging. Listen, I'm not watching strike three. I am
Yeah.
swinging the bat. So if it's a ball, I'm gonna foul it off. But I'm telling you, I'm prepared. I'm ready to swing the bat. And I think the same was true the day I arrived at Akron. I showed up and got in the batter's box, ready to swing the bat. So no nerves. The ball should be nervous.
Oh, that's a great answer. That might be the best answer we received during the lightning round. That's good. So if you could step into one MLB lineup for a day, who would you play for?
Oh, all right. I hate to admit this, but I am. I grew up a New York Yankees fan, and I always wanted to wear the pinstripes. That being said, I spent a lot of time down in Tampa. And I really, really respect the Tampa Bay Rays. I love they're a small market program. They have fewer resources than most everyone else. They're scrappy and gritty.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you what, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Um, I'd probably throw on a Rays jersey, mostly that and Vince Namoli, who was the original founder of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays back in the day, who's a Notre Dame grad and a great mentor of mine. He was the original owner of the team. So I think, in honor of their gritty and determined ways and of the late Mr. Namoli, um, I'd grab a bat and get in the batter's box for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Awesome. What is your go-to celebratory meal after a big win?
Oh, I've got a couple. My wife cooks excellent steak, and so I kind of like to have a victory steak. But I gotta tell you, I also can just do the spaghetti and meatballs, man.
Oh yeah.
A great spaghetti and meatball with the garlic butter bread, rock and roll. Let's go. That's a
Yeah.
great post-game
Oh yeah.
victory meal.
If colleges had a walk-up song for administrators, what would yours be?
Oh, it's funny, Matthew. There's so many. There's so many because I really enjoy the walk-up song culture. Um, I'm gonna go with uh, Elevation Worship, Sea of Victory.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that one. Google it. It's awesome. Toby Mac, Tonight by Toby Mac. That would be a good one. I think that's actually, I'll go with that.
Okay.
If you ever, the song is Tonight by Toby Mac. That's a great walk-up song.
I'll give it a listen. And the last question, what are you doing on any given Monday?
On any given Monday, I am focused on motivating all of my staff. That's probably what I spend most of my Mondays doing because of the connotation of Monday sometimes being like, what's Monday? We're going back to work.
Yeah.
I want every single person in my department and organization to hear something positive from me. Thank God it's Monday and we get to go do the thing that God put us on this planet to do. It's awesome. I love Mondays.
Well, that's great. That's all I got for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Matthew, this is awesome, man. I appreciate this.